Hello folks, how we getting on? Hope you're all well. Tickety boo and all that. I'm doing alright, I suppose. I'm feeling fit and fit. Yeah, doing alright, as I say. Nice treating me alright. Getting by. We're moving forward. People don't talk about COVID as much, thank God, anymore. But yeah, we shall just have to wait and see what the next dilemma is going to be presented with us is. Because they've been coming thick and fast recently. We've got winter coming, inflation's going like this, people are going to have to turn the heating down a little bit. Won't do people a pin of harm. Don't do them a pin of harm a lot of the time. They out and about, stick a coat on, go for a walk, move about, get outside, put a coat and a hat on and go for a walk. Most people should be doing more of this anyway. But I do understand that the price of stuff is going, so the likes of this is going to be a very big luxury product in the not too distant future. And I mean that. I've been talking to some distilleries and some distillers. When you talk about, when you're talking to guys who own like takeaways, and they're talking about their energy costs and how expensive it's got, and how they're scared for their future, scared for the future of their businesses. Imagine an industry where your raw product, your grain, has doubled probably in the last 2 years, 3 years, doubled in price. Your energy costs have went through the roof, and you're quite energy intensive. You already have massive overheads in terms of your production, because you have to wait minimum 3 years. So you're not like someone who buys a product today, adds value to it and sells it today or tomorrow. You can't do that with whiskey. Has to wait a certain period of time. So yeah, it's there's another factor coming into as well, and this will be a plus and a negative for people at the minute. Because if the UK does get a free trade agreement with India, and that includes Scotch whisky and English whisky, Welsh whisky, and also whisky from Northern Ireland, if that's in that category, then India consumes so much whisky, so much, and there's a huge middle class growing in India. And if they get that, the amount of production that they're going to need for spirits, whisky in particular, Scotch whisky, because no matter what way anyone dresses this up, Scotch whisky's still the premium product. Going to be for years, for decades. There's no competition for it in terms of reputation and quality. Just not going to happen. So that's certainly not how the whisky trade works. You can have really good whisky made today. It's not going to knock a lot of the Scotches off their top perch. It just isn't. So all of these, once that demand goes up, the price will start to do this. All the other factors are starting to drive it up too. And while people are talking about making all this money, or making collections and how expensive collections are, not making money really, but where they're talking about that, new release everyday drinking whiskey, the price of it's just heading that way, guys, and we have to get used to it. I can actually see where Irish whiskey collectability started to drop a little bit. Some of the bottles have started to drop really quite significantly, actually. But you can start to see where your everyday drinkers are starting to go like this. It is what it is. It's what it's going to be. Now, this bottling is a distillery exclusive from up near Inverness, the Tomatin Distillery. This is a distillery exclusive. It's a bit of a weird one because I've been down past this year umpteen times. I don't know how many times I've passed the sign for the distillery in here. I haven't had time to stop. Just haven't. We shall remedy that at some point in the not too distant future. We'll take a run up and go and see them. But I just haven't had a chance. Picked this up. A guy gave it to me. So, distillery exclusive bottling. So, 59.7% alcohol. Cask number 769, bottle number 154, handwritten label. Oloroso Sherry, distilled on the 1st of the 2nd, 08. The 1st of February, and bottled on the 21st of the 6th, 2022. So it was bottled a few months ago. So, Tomatin Highland Distillery, not too far away from Speyside, up near Inverness. Just leave a little quick look at the bottle. Now, Tomatin's one of these distilleries. They produce quite a lot of stuff, so they do, and it's quite accessible. It's easy enough to get your hands on, but you don't see it on the supermarkets. It's probably a little bit in between. You don't necessarily see it on the supermarket shelves. Probably, maybe I stand corrected if it is, but I don't think so. But there's plenty of it about. You can pick it up really easy. It's accessible for most independent whiskey shops. You don't need a real specialist to pick it up. And they do quite a lot of decent cask finishes. Now, they're an old distillery, been on the go since 1897, I think. I should do more prep work on this, but I think if I remember right, it's 1897. And they're now owned by a Japanese company. Got into a little bit of naughtiness. They got into a little bit of legal bother a few months ago when they tried to sue someone for using the Tomatin name. Tomatin is a name of a village, and whether they like it or not, you can't trademark the name of a village, or you shouldn't be able to trademark the name of a village at the detriment of other people that live there, especially not when you're a big company that's based in Japan, because it doesn't sit well with a lot of people. So anyway, yes, very naughty, Tomatin, very naughty, very naughty. So this is what a 14-year-old Oloroso Sherry cask finished Tomatin. Now, don't know, doesn't say whether it's non-chill filtered. I suspect it's not. I don't think it's chill filtered, and probably no colouring added to it either. It's got a really quite a pleasant nose to it. Yeah, it's got a really pleasant nose to it. It's not what you think it's going to be. Oloroso, you're automatically thinking nutty, wood, you're sort of fruity off it, you know, you're getting sort of nuts more than anything else. It does have your sherry notes to it, but it's actually got quite a deeper note that kind of a little bit, and I mean, when you nose this, you'll see what I mean. If you ever get a distillery bottling, you'll see what I mean. It's kind of got a little tarry note to it, and it's just sort of there, where you've got your wood and your nuts. Just below it, there's a little tarry note, which is not necessarily typical of normal Tomatins, but it definitely comes in there. It's below your wood and your sort of deeper nut flavours. Do you know what I mean? Like a walnut, just below it. It just sort of sits just below that nuttiness, and it's definitely there, and it's quite refreshing to have that. Normally, Tomatin, you could end up with cider casks and these kind of things, which sort of pulls it a little bit lighter. But I'm quite glad that note's there, because it's not necessarily typical of Tomatin. Yeah. you've got kind of a number of different things working there. You have your nuts from your Oloroso, so pretty much like walnuts and walnut shells, hazelnut there as well. It's basically the same note, it's just a slight permutation on it. There's a little bit of a creamy note without it being sweet. It's like a whipped cream nose to it, and then you've got that sort of little hint of tar just below it, and I quite like this. It's really quite nice. Now I have water on standby. As you can see, I've drunk quite a lot of this, but I'm going to taste it at 59.7. Now, at almost 60% alcohol, too heavy, but there's loads of flavour in this, lots of flavour. It's coming through as quite biscuity, Farley's rusk, moving through to being again nutty, almost walnut whippish without the marshmallow in it, if you know what I mean. There's that chocolate nutty thing going on in it, kind of almost dime barish. If you don't know what a dime bar is, if you're in the States, it's like a chocolate bar with like hard candy in the middle of it. It's kind of sweet but nutty at the same time, and again there's still that heavy note at the bottom that's got a complexity to it and a tarishness that it's really quite pleasant. Now, I've put water in this before, and it really doesn't take a huge amount. It's heavy on the ABV, and it kind of needs to be brought down a little bit to tame it. But if it's left in the glass without water for a period of time, if I stop the tape, come back in 10 minutes, and then do that, taste it again, what you find is it's probably mellowed out a little bit without the need of the water, and it's maybe even better to do it that way. But I'm not going to waste your time filling you in on a bit of nonsense. I don't know, talking about, I don't know, politics or some other inane, annoying topic. But what you put in a little touch of water, just a couple of drops, and let it sit a little bit, and the water will sort of speed up the aging, oxidization, whatever way you want to put it, of this. And what happens is, it's just brought the ABV down a little bit. For your taste, you might want to bring it down a little bit more, a little bit further. But on the nose, still nice. Still the tarry notes moved a little bit, probably lightened a little bit and moved up to more or less at the same level with the nuttiness. Actually, you know what? Do you know what hit me just there? You know, ice cream cones, not the ice cream, the actual cone. It's kind of got that nose to it. Yeah, the cone of the ice cream cone, you're kind of getting that note to it. You're kind of expecting whenever you drink this to get a crunch. Biscuity, a little bit of fig roll biscuit even, nuts, hazelnuts, walnuts again, walnut shells, cracked walnuts, and again that little tarry note that just sits in below it, which works well for me. I like that kind of thing. Don't be over sweetening the stuff. Oloroso Sherry Cask really working quite well, and just enough where you've got that complexity coming through. Possibly best to leave it another little bit, let it just breathe a little bit and enrich itself, let it just sort of relax. sometimes a whiskey like this, I know this sounds daft, but it kind of sounds, it's kind of like something has been let out. You know, like a dog that hasn't got walked for a day, and you open up, it's panting, and it just needs to settle down, because people panicking and dogs panicking and everything panicking, just nobody. It's not a good thing for anybody. But whenever it just settle down, everything's good, and it just finds it. It's just like it's been let out. It just needs 20 minutes just to calm itself down. There you go. Good boy. Good whiskey. You know. So yeah, it's kind of like that. It just needs a little bit of thought. Handle it with a little bit of care. But this is a bloody good whiskey. Bloody good whiskey. And Tomatin's one of those ones that's people will drink, but no, people don't necessarily rave about. You know, they don't necessarily go, "Wow, that's my favourite distillery." Well, I can't really say much about it because I've never actually been, but I do like this. This is really good, and to be honest with you, a lot of their stuff's really drinkable, really drinkable. So yeah, if you take yourself up, I'll give this a fairly decent 8.5 out of 10. Give it a little bit of a shake and a swirl, just to see it. Yeah, it's a very pleasant drink, and these distillery exclusives, sometimes, a lot of the time, they can be very gimmicky. They're trying to get money out of you, but there's nothing wrong with this. I hear other people talk about this as if people trying to make a profit is some sort of pejorative thing, as if it's some sort of nasty thing that people want to make some money. Ain't nothing wrong with people wanting to make some money. It's perfectly healthy. It's what keeps the lights on. It's what keeps people in jobs. It's what keeps everybody, the world, go round. So if they go to a distillery and you get a distillery bottle and you take it from a cask and you bottle up, what's wrong with that? And they charge you for it, and rightly so. I was at a distillery the other day. One of my favourite distilleries, I have to say. Probably the one I'm there most often, so I know the staff. The Blair Raffle Distillery, and I have to say, they've tour done like that. Tours, they know how to do it. The guys that are there are good. They're clever. They're funny. They are witty. They're experienced. They know what they're talking about. There's a guy does the distillery tours down there, who is moving on. He's going somewhere else. Not mention his name or whatever. And you're talking to a guy who has a master's degree in distilling from the Harriet Watt University, who knows his stuff, you know, and he's working as a guide. Now, they put through a lot of people down there, but they're very good, very good. Now, that's distillery experience. So the girl went in, bottled her distillery bottle, and she loved it. She was taking it home to her son. Her son was getting married, so we're taking it home to her son to get married as a wedding present. Brilliant wedding present, you know. And that's what something like this will be from the Tomatin Distillery. You know, you go bottle this, you can give it to someone. It's personalised, it's got a pen on it, it's not mass produced, but you pay for it, you know. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So, good healthy 8.5 out of 10. Thank you very much for the guy who gave this to me. Much appreciate it. Well, we had a dram of it ourselves together. So, have a good time, guys. Do stay safe, take care, and I will catch you again soon. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and share it if you like it. And if you don't, I'll hit it anyway, just for the laugh. Humorous, and we can always improve. Don't forget to catch me and Justin Saturday nights on the Irish Whisky Review. Take care, guys. See you soon.